All right, we're back. This is a 2025 Honda Navi, and it's in the Philippines, and it is about 59,000 pesos. And so I'm going to talk about how to buy a motorcycle in the Philippines, what you need, and why this is the best deal going versus America. In America, this is a $2,000 motorcycle plus all the BS fees they want to tack on. So if you buy a motorcycle in the Philippines, you don't have to buy a Honda from a dealership. You can buy from many other dealerships. It's not exclusive like it is in the US. Therefore, there's more competition, and they got to keep the prices lower. I bought this from a dealership called Guanzon, and the reason I did is because it was, I think, 1,000 pesos cheaper, which is like 20 bucks, 17, 20 bucks. And also, they do 5 of your oil change services for you for free. So the Honda dealership, they give you 3 services for free, and it was 20 bucks more expensive. So I bought it from Guangzhou, and I think I even got a rice cooker with it, which, if you know anything about Southeast Asia, you know that a rice cooker is like gold. So, a couple things on this particular bike. I added these helmet keepers, so they fit on here good. It's fine, but this one, the helmet sags down, and by the time you strap it on, it gets a little bit too close or touching the muffler, so I don't actually use this side. But I got it for 2 helmets in case you have 2 riders. But what I discovered after I bought those is it has, under the seat, you got a little bit of storage for documents and stuff. There's your toolkit. But it's got these right here under the seat, and you can hook your helmet right up under there on both sides, and then put the seat back on, and the seat latches and unlocks with the latch right there. So I didn't need these, so I'm actually going to take them off. And when I bought them from Lazada, they were supposed to say Navi right here, which I thought was better, but they don't say Navi right there. So got rid of that, or going to get rid of that. Those guys. So buying, and I think the only real difference between this bike and the one in the US is the parking brake's a little bit different. This goes there and then it locks. And it has linked front and rear brakes, which I think it does in the US also, but I think maybe there's a foot brake in the US. I'm not 100% sure, but this one has both hand brakes. So, other than that, it's the same bike, same engine, same everything. Obviously, this one's in kilometers. But if you wanted to buy a motorcycle in the Philippines, it's no problem. You don't have to have any kind of real visa. You can buy it on a tourist visa. They don't care. You just go in there and they tell you what the price is, and that's the price. There's no tax. Everything's built into the price. All the fees, all the tax, all the everything. If they tell you it's 59,000, you're paying 59,000, and there's absolutely no add-ons. Unless you want to buy some add-ons like a helmet or some other stuff. A lot of times they'll come with a crappy helmet, which these came with a crappy helmet, which gets you home. But yeah, it's super easy. You just tell them, hey, I want it, and they're either going to want cash or they're going to want a bank transfer, which bank transfers are really common here. For semi-big purchases, I think there's a limit of like, from Gcash is like a 50,000 peso limit per day, or maybe per transaction. And then from like bank to bank transfer, it might be 200,000 per day or per transaction. I'm not exactly sure. But if you walk in there with cash, then you're strutting around town with 59,000 in cash, which is no big deal. But you just slap that down and you're done. You do like 5 minutes of paperwork, and they'll send off for your license plate. And they don't give you a temp tag or nothing, at least at the shop I was at. So you're going to be riding with no tag on the way home, which is it's an issue. And then it might be a month or two before you get your license plate. So just keep that in mind. You may or may not want to ride illegally. You got the sales paperwork, and I don't know how anal the cops are, because there's some checkpoints, but you're not dealing with cops really in the Philippines. You just don't deal with them. They're not around like they are in the U.S. They're not on every corner. They're not trying to bone you. You're just not dealing with cops. I'm going to set that to the side. So if you need a cop, you're not going to find a cop. You'll find a security guard. They're everywhere. But cops, you're not going to deal with cops. And they don't want to speak English, so they're not going to mess with you. Even if there is a checkpoint, they don't want to deal with you. So for the most part, I've been here for a year and a half, and I've not really dealt with any cops. I went down the road, down a one-way, the wrong way, and talked to the cops for a minute, but he let me go. So, and I've jaywalked before, and there was a cop right there, and he didn't like it, but he let me go too. So they don't really care. Just be respectful. Always remember that you're not in your own country, and you're a guest, so you can't lose your cool, and you can't be a jerk to people here, especially the cops. It just doesn't work. Just don't be that guy. If you want to be that guy, stay in your own country. That's just the way it is. And don't get involved in political conversations here. But anyways, back to the motorcycles. So yeah, this is by the time you leave the dealership with this bike in the U.S., this is probably going to be $2,500. But here you can get one for $1,000. Best deal going, and it's a nice little bike, especially for the Philippines, where you can't ride this legally on the highway anyways. You got to have 400cc or more on the highway. So by highway, I mean like 4-lane interstate, like we're used to in the U.S. You can ride it on any other road. And most of the roads around here are stop and go. And mostly stop. And you're going 60 kilometers per hour or less, so that's like 35 or so. You're doing that kind of speed, which is perfect for one of these bikes. And in the storage box there, I keep a backpack. So if I'm out and about and I've got more stuff than will fit in that box, I got a little backpack that rolls up, and it lives in there. So I'll throw it in a backpack if I got too much stuff, grocery stuff or whatever that I need to get home with. But that little box will hold quite a bit of stuff. And the bike it's a scooter, made to look like a motorcycle. And so it rides easy, automatic transmission, starts easy, no problem. It's got a kickstart, but it has electric start. And there's not really storage under the seat like most scooters to speak of, but it's got that little box. And then you throw a backpack in that box and you're set. And you could put a box off the back too, if you wanted to. If you wanted to kill the looks of the bike, you throw a storage box on the back. But it's 110 cc's, and it'll do 50 miles an hour with the tailwind. But you really don't need to go that fast in the Philippines. And it gets up to speed pretty quick, and then it just kind of tapers off. So it's a good little bike. It's comfortable. It rides nice. On the crappy, bumpy roads in the Philippines, it rides real nice. So yeah, you can get a normal scooter for 80,000 pesos, which would be like the Honda Click. And I think Honda makes a cheaper one called a Honda Beat. But in my opinion, this is the way to go. It's carbureted, which the Honda Click is fuel injected. And I think the Honda Click has disc brakes in the front. This has got drums all the way around. But for the price, you just need to get around, and you don't want to deal with Facebook Marketplace and the idiots on there. Just go to any dealership and throw some money down, and you can walk out with the bike. And this particular one is serving us well. So there's your deal for today. See you around.